Yes, would that would be blacklisted and would not undertake any jobs for our members. Our regulator would ensure that our infrastructure is built according to these standards. So we also definitely have a role to play. Ladies and gentlemen, fiber is more than a cable in the ground. It is the digital bloodstream of our economy. It powers communication networks, connects businesses to the cloud, supports government digital business, and enables innovation in health, education, agriculture, commerce, among others. It is, however, this critical infrastructure is under constant threat. Let me share some sobering statistics with all of us. For the past year, in 2024, the industry recorded a minimum of 5,600 fiber cuts, with a total cost of the damage estimated at $9.2 million, over 128 million Ghana cedis. This does not count the loss of revenue that happens, the loss of reputation that comes with all of this. It's averaged as an average cost of 23,000 cedis per cut. In a total restoration time, if you put all the time it took us to restore all of those cuts together, it's 422 days, 0.54 days. So it was more than a year. If we put all of that to the year, it would not even fit within a year. And that's the time that it took for us to fix it. Because sometimes when they cut the cable, by the time you go, they have covered it. So it will take you forever to even find out where the cut is to be able to fix it. Stall businesses and affect banking services, emergency communication, education delivery, among others. The causes of the fiber are many, but the top villains are: 1, road construction. They account for 20.68%. Theft and vandalism. Some still think there's copper embedded in the fiber, so they go stealing it. They account for 13.98%. Another group of people who are also very obstinate, private developers. So I'm sure you heard the minister talk about the fact that we are written to him and the Director General about some private developers on the Dawa. This was not underground fiber. This is aerial fiber. He just went chopping the trees that the fiber pulls. And so we are definitely looking for them, and with the help of the minister and regulator, we definitely will be taking those people to court and hoping that we'll be able to bring some action against them. Other causes are broken cores, drain construction, fire, farming, flooding, even galamsey. And then we sometimes have the challenge where our utility brothers that we share the reservations with also damage it. So Ghana Water, ECG, and even bridge construction also contribute significantly. This tells us that something urgent but straightforward. Our infrastructure is vulnerable and we need to collective action to protect it. We are all in this together, and through our combined effort that we can make a real difference. We are, however, not alone in this fight. I want to acknowledge the commendable support we continue to receive from our regulator and policy makers. The NCA has been instrumental in dedicating resources to support the prosecution of vandals and saboteurs. The Cybersecurity Authority has partnered us to enhance our security posture and resilience. The Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation has provided policy direction, helping drive the framework for the protection of critical information infrastructure, which includes business continuity planning, security strategies, and operational resilience. Our current minister, in the past 4 months, has spoken clearly and decisively about the support of protecting telecommunication infrastructure than all his predecessors have done in their time. And we pray that this will lead to some concrete change happening. We must now intensify collaboration with fellow infrastructure stakeholders, especially Ghana Water, Electricity Company of Ghana, the road agencies, including Ghana Highway Authority and the Department of Urban Roads. People we share the right of way with. we must also share responsibility for protecting others' infrastructure. We are therefore calling for a mandatory inclusion of telecom ducts in all new road constructions. B, permitting and approval enforcement. Enforce strict rules requiring permits before any excavation is done. One of the things we're hoping that the minister's call for legislation would do would be to get a national call before you dig policy to prevent accidental and intentional cuts. D, dedicated utility management units within the road agencies with a single point of contact for coordination. Then collaborative resolution of landlord encroachment issues that continue to hinder fiber rollout in urban areas. You're trying to do installations and you have a landlord who will tell you that you cannot go in front of his house, though that space does not belong to them. And normally when this happens, the assemblies who would have taken the right, given us a right-of-way permits will leave us to fight that. Most importantly, we need to arrest, prosecute all those national saboteurs that continue to damage this critical infrastructure with reckless abandon. We could have spent the over $10 million to expand fiber to my twin towns of Asadame and Chame, rather than spend them in fixing fiber cuts within the 3 corridors of this country. We are not just here to complain, we are here to ideate and build solutions. So today I invite all of you to treat this forum as a collaborative space. Share your ideas, raise your concerns, and let's together come up with innovations. Your input is invaluable, and together let us build a more resilient, secured, and efficient fiber optic network, one that is worthy of Ghana's digital transformation journey. In conclusion, I want to make a heartfelt call to action to all our stakeholders to protect our fiber, protect Ghana's digital backbone. To the Honorable Minister, we ask for your continued leadership and policy direction to safeguard fiber deployment, especially with enforcement and planning across government. We should have that act of parliament to ensure protection of telecommunication is enshrined clearly in law, and we consolidate all the currently existing laws together. To your other colleague ministers for Interior and Attorney General, please work with them to ensure implementation of this law once passed. And to our regulators, to the NCA and the CSA, you have a major role to play in the implementation of the laws that currently exist and in this new law once it is passed. We need to move beyond the obligations on your licensees, and please protect our infrastructure. To our road agencies, we urge you to be proactive partners. Integrate ducts into your road construction, issue permits responsibly, and collaborate with us to fully ensure utility preservation. As we launch the minimum specification manual today, let it not be just a document on our shelves, but a tool we all adopt to enforce and live by. Let today be a turning point. Thank you for coming today. You are welcome. Your presence is a testament of your commitment to our cause. I encourage each of you to actively participate, share your ideas, contribute to the discussions, and let's make this truly a productive session. Akpana Mikata, thank you very much.
Akpe. A round of applause for the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications. Now, $9 million plus loss to the repair of fiber optic cables that have been damaged, I think is a little bit too much. Now, for some of you, I'm sure you're aware that, since the early 2000s, fiber has been landing on the shores of Africa and, Ghana, allowing some of us to go to busy internet, to browse, go on the internet and the likes, allowing some of us to, connect, and also allowing the teeming youth of our country to be able to innovate. But the gains have not been without some challenges. The cuts continue, as my CEO intimated. Now, the next man I'm about to invite up here keeps us grounded. He is the tip of the spear at the regulator, and he will be bringing us special remarks from the National Communications Authority, and I'm talking about none other than the Acting Director General of the NTA, Reverend Engineer Edmund. Max, we are moving at the speed of fiber. Yeah, speed of fiber.
I like the concepts of the speed of fiber. So, good morning. I'm told the Honorable Minister is online. So, duly acknowledge him. The Honorable Minister. I can see some CEOs and representatives of CEOs with us, and the technical advisor to the Minister, who is here representing him. So I would say all protocols observed. Good morning. Okay, yeah, it wasn't rhetorical too. Yeah, so I want to thank the CEO of the Chamber and all the members of the Chamber for the invitation. Thank you once again for the solidarity and support since my appointment as the Acting Director General of the NCA. When the CEO of the Chamber led a delegation of CEOs to officially congratulate me, the Chamber presented a copy of the Telecommunications Industry Fiber Optic Minimum Specification and Standards Manual, which sets out the industry specification and standardization policy for the deployment of fiber optic cables in Ghana. I was pleased with the document, and I promised to refer it to the National Technical Committee, the TC24, established by the Ghana Standards Authority for the development of electronic communication standards. We have indeed included it in our standardization needs requests to the Ghana Standards Authority for 2025. And the processes to develop, thank you. And the formal processes to develop a Ghana standard will commence soon. They've sent me a budget, so. This manual, which is being launched today, will be the primary reference document for the intended Ghana standard to give it the backing of law. But why is it important to have a standard minimum specification document? There are several entities laying fiber in this country, so the standards are needed to ensure consistent quality, clear labeling, predictability in locating installed cables to enhance their protection from damage. A minimum standards document is a critical tool for training people to correctly install and maintain fiber optic cables. We have to take skills training very seriously in this country. And that is why His Excellency the President's vision to train 1 million young people in digital skills over a 4-year period is commendable and must be supported by all of us. The CEO of the Chamber in one of our meetings told the story of someone who met a fiber warning mesh whilst digging a trench for cables. The guy cut the tape, tied it around his waist, and continued digging. This guy obviously had no training, but has been deployed in the field. We have seen instances of inconsistent ducting practices, shallow trenching, poorly strung aerial cables, or fiber splicing vulnerabilities, which make our networks prone to damage and disruption. Maybe the technical advisor is here. I don't know if the minister can hear us. I haven't yet seen the full scope of the training programs in the 1 million coders program, but I will recommend that if it is not there, we include training in fiber optic cable installation and maintenance to help address the challenge of poor fiber deployment in the areas where we see these challenges. It is not enough to have a standard. It is even more important to enforce it. And once the manual becomes a Ghana standard, and I'm happy to hear the CEO itself have tell us what the industry itself intends to do to enforce it by way of blacklisting, contractors that are not non-compliant to the standard. But once it becomes a Ghana standard with the backing of law, we will have to enhance the enforcement measures. People do not care about damaging cables because often there are no consequences, and we must work towards changing this. The Honorable Minister has directed a review of all legislation in the communication sector. We invited the industry to submit proposals, and I'm glad to report that all our stakeholders sent contributions in spite of the short time frame. Thank you. One of the proposals the NCA has included in its submission to the ministry is an amendment of Section 77 of the Electronic Communications Act of 2008, Act 775, to provide for an administrative fine for a person who recklessly, maliciously, or negligently damages, removes, or destroys a communications facility or infrastructure. Our proposal is for a fine of not less than 3 times the cost of repairs, or where the fine is not paid, for criminal prosecution, where the person will be liable to a fine of not more than 10,000 penalty units, or to a term of imprisonment of not more than 5 years, or both, upon summary conviction. It is a proposal. So hopefully it will be adopted when we go through the process of amendment. Technical advisor is here. He would carry it through. We need to make it costly for anyone who cuts a fiber cable or damages a communication infrastructure. Today, telecom service providers have collectively deployed over 33,853 kilometers of fiber optic cables across the country. Several cities, major economic hubs and border towns are now interconnected by high-capacity fiber routes. These investments have enabled growth in mobile broadband, data centers, cloud services, and IP-based voice and video services. That is why we have to step up the enforcement mechanisms to protect these investments. Every fiber cut has significant impact on quality of service, and we must curb it as much as possible. The NCA has stepped up quality of service monitoring nationwide. We've asked our regional offices to be doing, especially in the cities where the offices are, to be doing measurements consistently on a weekly basis. In the past, we used to do them quarterly and half-yearly, but now they will do. Our primary objective is service improvement. We will be providing feedback to operators to improve the service where we find the quality to be poor. The false reports that we receive daily tend to be issues of power failure or fiber cuts. We will soon commence a collaborative process with the relevant statutory bodies to address lingering issues on rights-of-way and permits for communications infrastructure. These collaborative efforts will hopefully mitigate the incidence of fiber cuts. To facilitate this process, we are sending 2 members of our staff, I mentioned the last time the chamber was there, to the Open Fiber Data Standard workshop in Geneva this month. Our objective is to develop capacity for the adoption of the standard so we can streamline the process of making sense of the terrestrial fiber data to enable public and private sector stakeholders to make data-driven decisions for investment and infrastructure planning. We hope to develop an accessible and interactive terrestrial fiber map to support planning and visualization of network density, expansion corridors, and blackout zones to support policy, regulatory, and investment decisions. I want to use this platform to encourage more investment in last mile fiber connectivity in its various forms, fiber to the home, fiber to the curb, etc. There are many underserved areas in cities when it comes to fiber optic infrastructure. There are many fast developing communities in Accra and the cities in the Golden Triangle. I will urge the industry to help us grow our fiber to the home penetration to improve the consumer access to data services and to ease the congestion on the mobile networks. We must see fiber as a national utility, one that is pervasive, reliable, and affordable. Ladies and gentlemen, the attention of every one of us in this country was drawn to the critical importance of fiber optic cables in the communications infrastructure when on 14th March 2024, multiple undersea fiber optic cable disruptions affected mobile and fixed data services nationwide. Suddenly, everyone realized that the internet on the mobile phone is dependent on fiber optic cables buried under the belly of the sea. Many years ago, there was this TV advert that had this line, electricity no get legs. It be cable metal where they carry them. Even though most people connect to the internet over wireless systems, it be fiber cables where they carry your signal. Service providers to submit their backup and redundancy plans to ensure business continuity and seamless connectivity to data services should their cables get cut or develop a major fault. This was complied with. Further, all mobile network operators were requested to maintain their existing redundant submarine cable links within Ghana and to connect to a submarine cable provider in the sub-region that is currently not landing in Ghana. These measures were intended to boost our connectivity resilience. We have to ensure resilience of terrestrial fiber also to ensure uninterrupted data services. Ladies and gentlemen, truly protecting our fiber optic infrastructure for accelerated development is a shared responsibility. It is a critical national infrastructure that must be protected by all of us to unlock the true potential of Ghana's digital transformation. The industry manual is the fruit of collaboration between competitors, an illustration of how much we can achieve together as a nation when we choose to collaborate and work together in spite of our differences and varying interests. I want to assure all stakeholders of the NCA's commitment to work together with the industry and other government stakeholders to protect fiber infrastructure and investments in the country. Once again, I want to congratulate the Chamber on producing this manual, and I pledge to provide the required necessary facilitation to translate it into a Ghana standard. Thank you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Thank you so much, Didi. Please keep the applause coming as it gets to his seat. Thank you so very much. Now, this session really is supposed to be a closed-door session, as we wanted to achieve two things. Aside the ceremonial launch of the manual, we would also take some minutes to, we have the DG here, we have the rep, the advisor to the minister also here, some remarks and some conversation from some of our members. I'm sure the remarks from the DG sounded like music to the ears of some of our members. I see Mr. Fred Afoko nodding. And I picked a few things. The inclusion of training on fiber installation and maintenance in the 1 million coders program was amazing. The fact that a manual alone is not enough. Enforcement with punitive sanctions, are needed to ensure protection of our fiber. Investment in last mile connectivity infrastructure. And, the fact that it is a natural resource that needs protection. And this manual being the result of collaborative effort, I believe is a true testament of the work that has been done. So at this point, the minister really would have loved to be here, but could not make it due to some national assignments, so he's out of the jurisdiction. But he did take time off to record a message for us. So if our technical team is ready, they can please play the message for our audience, please.
The Acting Director General, National Communications Authority, the Acting Director General, Cybersecurity, Captains of Communication Industry, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Let me begin by extending my warmest greetings to you all, and I bring you regards from the Ministry of Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, and from His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, under whose visionary leadership we're actively laying the digital foundations for a prosperous Ghana. Allow me to first express my sincere apologies for not being able to join you in person. Official duties have taken me away, but today's event is timely and significant. The communication sector has been and remains a pillar of Ghana's socio-economic transformation. From connectivity and digital financial inclusion to e-health, education, and modern governance, the role of reliable and accessible telecommunication infrastructure cannot be overstated. In this context, I commend the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications and its members for their leadership in developing the communications industry fiber optic minimum specifications and industry standards manual. This is not just a technical document, but a regulatory tool, a governance instrument, and a strategic guide. Fiber optic infrastructure is the silent engine powering Ghana's digital economy. Yet, without standardized specifications, we risk fragmentation, continued destruction of this critical information infrastructure, inefficiency, and high maintenance cost. This initiative is crucial because it reflects the coordinated forward-looking planning required to realize Ghana's full digital potential. These specifications, covering everything from trenching depth and pole span to duct types and splicing procedures, will now ensure uniformity, safety, and interoperability across our fiber deployments, both underground and aerial fiber. Standards and specifications matter, especially as we push towards increased broadband coverage in rural and underserved communities. But let's be clear on one thing. Our fiber infrastructure must be protected. That is non-negotiable. It is a national asset. Just as we protect roads and water pipelines, so too must we safeguard the cables that carry the lifeblood of our digital economy, data. Destructive digging, uncoordinated installations, and poor maintenance must become things of the past. They must actually become relics of the past. Again, as is done for electricity and water, communications, which is now a utility and a human right, should be treated as such. During road works, just as water and electricity are catered for in relocation, fiber should also be treated in a like-minded manner, and I've begun conversations with the Minister for Roads and Highways on this subject. As a ministry, we're working closely with other government agencies and regulators to ensure that our fiber optic deployments align with Ghana's urban planning, our road construction, and energy infrastructure development. We're committed to harmonizing policy, enforcing compliance, and encouraging innovation. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has made it clear. Ghana must not just participate in Africa's digital future, we must lead it. With this foundation, we're positioning our nation as a digital hub in West Africa, open for innovation, investment, and impact. This will not happen without a solid and resilient fiber infrastructure. The potential is immense, and the future certainly is bright. But government cannot do this alone. We need collaboration, not just compliance, collaboration. Every communications operator, infrastructure provider, municipality, and contractor must buy into this vision. That is why we are here, to invite you to be an active co-architect of Ghana's fiber future. The time to act is now. Let us work together to fine-tune the standards, keep them relevant, and most importantly, apply them. I agree with the regulator, the NCA, to have the Ghana Standards Authority convert the standards we launched today into a national standard. As we wait for that process to be concluded, let this manual not gather dust. Let us implement it and ensure that it gathers momentum. In conclusion, I commend the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, the technical team, and all stakeholders who contributed to this milestone. Let this be a model of how industry is proactive with initiative and how public-private partnerships can deliver transformative outcomes. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, your commitment, and your leadership. Let us build a connected Ghana for every region, every community, and every citizen. God bless you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you.
made it very clear that the protection of infrastructure for the industry cannot be understated. And he clearly went above and beyond, and with some of the salient points he made in his speech there, basically reiterating the point that fiber needs to be protected, and that the ministry is having conversations and also working with the other agencies to harmonize policies to protect fiber. And Ghana's objective of becoming an innovation hub cannot be possible without a strong fiber infrastructure network. And also, PPP, public-private partnerships, needs to be encouraged to ensure that key national objectives are achieved. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this program, we will do a symbolic launch of the manual and then dive straight into receiving remarks from our members who are within the fiber ecosystem, from AT to C-Squared, MTN, Telecel, Spectrum Fiber, and Vobis. Before we would then hear from players from the other infrastructure, players like the Ghana Water, Department of Urban Roads, amongst others. So I think at this point, if Ken, would you want to come up with the DG launch of the, yes, and the advisor to the minister as well, to do the ceremonial launch. We'll bring a printed. Yes, I think you can just go to the back. So, I mean, after this exercise, really, we'll be hearing from each member on why it is important and critical that fiber infrastructure is actually protected. Then we can open the floor for any questions. Yes, I mean, at the chamber, we keep it simple, and, nice as well. Yes. So I don't know if I can give the mic to DG. Yes, sir. Would you bring us off?
Okay. So I think we are doing this on behalf of the Honorable Minister. Yeah, so I heard many years ago they say I stand in the leg of. So we stand in the, sorry, maybe there are cameras here. Let me speak good English. Okay, so on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Communications, we would want to officially or formally launch the minimum standards for fiber optic cables in Ghana, Chief. If we would, yes. Yeah. Oh, you didn't play any sound.
Let me turn it around.
Okay.
So, there we go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so those are signatures. So on behalf of the Minister, I formally declare the Telecommunications Industry Optic Fiber Minimum Specifications and Standards Manual duly launched. Oh, she signed too.
Okay. Let me move it a bit backwards so that
my signature is not like your own. Okay, so I can just write my initials. So, okay. Okay, thank you.
So we'll be taking some pictures. Would invite the reps of the members of the chamber, the CTOs from AT, to come upstairs and join DG as well as Ken to just take some few pictures. We're taking 5 minutes to do this. Then we'll just get straight back into the conversation. So if we have the CTOs from AT, AT, MTN, Telecel. Let me just do this. We have people from Spectrum Fiber, Vobis, Telecel here, C-Squared. right, thank you. So at the end of it, we would get all of you to actually sign them for us. So at this juncture, we would like to invite up here Mr. Emmanuel Owusu, the CTO of AT, to make initial remarks around the importance of this manual, as well as the overall conversation around the protection of fiber. All of them would get 5 minutes. Like I mentioned earlier, we're moving at the speed of fiber so that we'll be able to get back, to work. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So on behalf of AT, I stand in to really show appreciation from an MNO point of view on what has been done here today. I think that fiber regulations have been something that we in the industry have been clamoring for a while now. We are so appreciative that the chamber has taken this first step and we provided our inputs. And the expectation and the hope is the commitments that have been made by the DG today to try and collaborate with the Standards Authority to standardize this would be implemented and ratified. Thank you very much, Chamber. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that was the CTO for AT, Mr. Emmanuel Owusu. Now, if I can get Mr. Frederick Amwaka Afoko, CTO for C-Squared here to also
weave or interconnect West Africa. Okay, so I'm happy to share that today we've been able to launch and test and launch connection service between Lagos to Accra. Okay, we're involved in other initiatives as well, where we are trying to interconnect other parts of West Africa. So looking towards Liberia, Monrovia, we're working diligently with our partners in Cote d'Ivoire. We expect within the next couple of quarters to have connectivity between Monrovia and Abidjan as well. Okay, so bringing this home to Ghana and listening to all the speakers before me, it's clear that this is something we've been clamoring for a very long time. At a very minimum, standards to which we would build, standards to which as an industry will be held accountable to, okay, just so we ensure the services we provide our customers are at the very best, at the very least. The little thing I would want to add is beyond the standards, beyond the technical standards, perhaps we also look at processes, and perhaps that's where the legal framework would come in. So I just want to say thank you to the chamber, thank you to the minister, technical advisor, thank you to our regulator for pushing this through. It's something we all appreciate, and we look forward to it being formally established. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frederick Amwaka Foko, the CTO for C-Squared there. Now, up next would be Mr. Ruben Opata, CTO of MTN, to also share his remarks. A round of applause for him. And right after this, we'll just start our conversation.
Thank you very much. All protocols observed. On behalf of the CEO and management of MTN, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the chamber, and particularly to the CEO of the chamber, for this huge and significant milestone. I think it cannot be overemphasized, the significance that fiber plays in telecommunications today. And we have been struggling for a long time now in terms of how we manage and keep fiber optic up and running. The DG said something about the number of kilometers that cumulatively the industry has, about 33,000. To put that in context, it's like the distance from Accra to New York, New York to Beijing, Beijing back to Accra, roughly. And that tells you how much fiber is in the country. And it also goes to emphasize how much investment and focus the MNOs have placed on fiber. So the standard that we are seeing unveiled today is a huge milestone. And we really want to thank the Chamber, thank the DG of the NCA, and thank all representatives here for bringing this to light. The question is, what would we do from an industry perspective? And all we can do is to onboard the standards. We've got contractors, subcontractors that work daily. And we, on our part, will ensure these subcontractors also adhere to the specifications that we have today. Not only that, we do have procurement processes where tenders are launched, and it is our duty and responsibility to ensure that these specifications are embedded in these processes to make sure the fiber that is so critical to telecommunications remain very safe to execute exactly what we intended to do. So I really want to say once again, thank you very much. And together as an industry, we will take our nation to more digital heights. Thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for him. A big round of applause for Mr. Ruben Opata, the CTO for MTN. So we're going to move on to Mr. Samuel Oseo Kwetia from Spectrum Fiber, if he's here. Please, let's give him a round of applause as he walks up here. And for those, we actually trained the contractors in this very same room on these standards. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So my name is Samuel. I'm the CFO for Spectrum Fiber. So on behalf of Spectrum Fiber, my MD, Mr. Razak Audulai, and everyone, would like to also commend the Chamber for this initiative and the achievements we are all seeing today. We, over the period, have suffered some of these problems, regarding cuts. In 2023, 2024, we had to replace over 450 thereabout kilometers of fiber in the western corridors of Ghana due to galamsey activities, road constructions. We had to change the whole underground cable to ADSS and all that. So it's a major achievement, and we believe that this is going to bring about a lot more efficiency, improvement in cost reduction, even global standardizations and all that. So we are very happy that we are part of this celebration today, and we commend everyone who made this possible. Thank you.
Very, very short and succinct. We'll now move on to the Director of Technology for Telecel, Mr. Ebenezer Sabo, if he's here. A round of applause for him as he comes up. Like we mentioned, we're keeping it very short, straight to the point.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And also on behalf of Telecel, I want to commend everyone and commend the Chamber. All protocols observed. Our Honorable DG and the technical advisor to the Minister, thank you so much for being here. On behalf of Telecel, we also recognize the importance of fiber in national development. Just as my other partners from the other telcos have also said, we've also committed lots of funds to roll out fiber infrastructure across the country. And what is a fact and the bane is the continued disruption of our services on fiber. What we have done, and I'm sure the other players would have also done the same, is to build redundancies, diverse fiber paths. But unfortunately, because the incident rate of the cuts it's so high, sometimes you then tend to have double or triple fiber cuts that eventually impact services, despite the redundancies that you have built in the network. So on this call, I think I want to commend the Chamber again for this good work, for the launch of this manual. And also, they mentioned that they've trained their contractors here on this manual, and that is also very commendable. Addressing this is a progressive effort. Fiber cuts is not just a Ghana problem. Just last month, I also heard in Lagos, they mentioned they had about 2,500 fiber cuts in 2024 alone. 2,500, just only in Lagos, So, and I was also surprised that even in the UK, They were in UK where they have launched, a Telecommunications Security Act and a lot of things to protect their digital infrastructure. You also tend to have fiber cuts as well. And the solution is almost the same from continent to continent. Stronger policy formulation, stricter enforcement, tighter collaboration with all the regulatory bodies, and compliance with the manual and specifications that have been drawn and laid out. And we are happy to note that our Honorable Minister and our Honorable DG are committed towards this effort. So we are really grateful, we are really thankful, and we know we are approaching the end of the tunnel. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ebenezer Sebu, Director, Technology, Telecel. And I'd like to add my voice to his, saying that we are very grateful for the importance that's been attached to this by the Honorable Minister as well as the DG for the sector. And up next, we should have Mr. Foster Tetevi, Chief Financial Officer and Strategy Officer for Vobis, if he's here with us. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, a round of applause as he walks up. In some places, I see you noted as director. Some places, I see you noted as chief financial officer. Please forgive me if I misread.
No problem. Thank you. I have the rare privilege of moving from finance to commercial, and now I'm the managing director of Vobi Solutions. So, yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a privilege to be, I'm sure we are the youngest member of the chamber this morning. And we are grateful for what the chamber has done, what the ministry did, and what all the players have done. So we use principally electricity infrastructure for our fiber deployment. And we have in the past few years done about 7,000 of that kilometers from Apalawi in the east to Alubo in the west, through to Wa in the upper east, and then to Paga. We also are happy many of our collaborators are here. And Cisco is our friend. We help in those crises, and we are grateful to them for giving us an opportunity. So we are happy that aside what we do with Electricity Company of Ghana and NEDCO in terms of standards, industry-wide standard is also formulated. And as we move to the next stage of formulating into an act, we show our relative experiences will play a part in protecting the fibers and also reducing the investment, because shared infrastructure plays a role, lowering the cost of providing services, and eventually the economy and the consumer wins, and we continue deepening the broadband. So it's no longer a city issue, but the rural communities could also join in the digital economy. I want to on this congratulate Dr. Engineer for all the work done and all collaborators, and wish all of us the best in the execution phase of this journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Foster Tetevi there, the Managing Director of for Vobis Ghana. So those were remarks from members of the chamber within, or who, should I say, are fiber-focused, the infrastructure companies. Time now for some key contributions from other aligned infrastructure agencies like the Department of Urban Roads, the Ghana Highways Authority, the Ghana Water Company Limited, as well as NECT. So if we have Mr. or Engineer, sorry, the engineer didn't come cheap. Please forgive me. Engineer David Nunu, Chief Manager, Technology and Innovation for GWL. If you're here, we'll really, please, there he comes. A round of applause for him as he also comes to make his key contributions. Please forgive me for saying Mr.
Good morning to everyone. All protocols observed. And on behalf of Ghana Water and my MD, I'd like to commend you on this great feat. Indeed, I can see there's a lot of work that has gone into it, and you deserve all of the applause. What I'd like to add again is that even though the manual as it stands seeks to provide a good guide for reference within the fiber optic space, at the heart of all of this discussion, I think protecting this infrastructure is key. And I can relate when it comes to water infrastructure as well, we suffer similar setbacks and cuts like you do. And from my observations, almost all of the utilities, ECG, water, and telecoms, we seem to have been working in silos for a very long time. So you'd have water lines running along the same course. You have some ECG lines. Very often, we don't even know where these lines are. And often, we end up damaging each other's infrastructure. So this calls for working more collaboratively. I would propose that beyond this manual, we should be looking at having a mapping platform where all of these utilities can share information. It helps so that as we go along with our work, it helps to guide each one of us the routes or the course where our infrastructure runs, and by so doing, we have or we are more careful when we are out there working. So beyond this manual, which is good, we should also look at other ways of deeply entrenching these things and protecting our infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much, Engineer David Nuno, the Chief Manager, Technology and Innovation for the Ghana Water Company. Now, for those of you wondering, this is basically like a ceremonial design for the front cover, but we actually have the manual here. It's been developed, and within it, you find all the specifications and standards. I think, boss, how much is it going for? Well, I mean, we'll share the price with you, but you can, get a copy, and you'll basically be able to appreciate all the work that has gone into it. At this point, I believe we have a representative from the Department of Urban Roads. If she is here, she can kindly make her way to the podium to give her remarks, if she's here. If she's here, okay, it doesn't look like she's here. So let's move on to Mr. or Engineer Percy Anab from NET for his remarks before we get into the Q&A session. A round of applause for him, please.
Thank you very much. I happen to be a planner. So, Planner Percy Anab Bukari. I'm also the president for the Ghana Institute of Planning. So I had two issues, but the first one has been well articulated by Nuno from GWCL. The second one is all this infrastructure across the country have been laid within some local authorities. So we have about 262 assemblies in Ghana across the 16 regions. And every infrastructure is within this MMDAs. So it means that all the infrastructure can be located in space. And this space is governed by a local authority. And I know there are some activities within the assemblies to take stock of all assets, all national assets within their jurisdiction. So in some assemblies, you go there and they can tell you the number of transformers in their area. They can tell you the length of the MV and the LV lines. The same way with the Ghana Water and Community Water and Sanitation. So when it comes to telecoms, there should be a way that you go to Lejokuku or you go to Ladere Kotopon or Bia East, Bia West or Paga, Kastan and Kana West. Then you ask them, what is the length of fiber within your municipality? And if they know it, then I tie it in with what Nunu mentioned, that we should also have some form of mapping, a mapping platform where all this, more or less like an as-built mapping platform, so that anyone who is entering into that space, either to inject some kind of technology or some kind of infrastructure, will know what is existing, so that it can minimize the level of interruptions. And quite apart from that, we at NECT, what we do is that almost all the infrastructure the utility companies are there. We also have the land sector agencies. We also have the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority. And I must also say that the Land Use and Spatial Planning Authority is also looking at marine planning. So, such as, as we design our urban spaces, within sub-deep sea area must also be planned so that we have a lot of infrastructure there. Ghana Gas is going underground. We have petroleum, we have telecom, we have everything there. So it must be planned. And also, we must also have some form of as-built so that it can also protect the infrastructure. So we at NECT, that's the National Engineering Coordinating Team. What we do there is that Ghana Highway Authority, for instance, will come and tell us their plans for the next 5 to 10 or 15 years. Then we will know where they will be moving to. So once we know what Ghana Highway is coming up with, or Urban Route is coming up with, quickly, all the land sector agencies are there with us, and then the utility agencies are also there. They also put their systems in place, knowing that in the next 5 to 10 years, the Boteman Road would move from the main Tema Highway, move out to Boteman, then you get to where we call School Junction, that's Ashalibotri. You know that the next phase is going to be from that place to Rich Junction to up to across Kwabenya. Then you get out and you join the Awoshi or the Pokwasi interchange. So quickly, Ghana Water will start planning that corridor, and then the other utility agencies would also start planning that corridor. And once we have that, at the coordinating meetings, it reduces a lot of these things. And within these same meetings, anytime we have some cuts, either Ghana Water versus the telecom or highway versus this, at least that particular forum provides a platform where we speak to each other and then we get solutions. On that platform, there have been calls from Wasat, from Jelukopper, you go to Paga, everywhere that you find some form of interruptions, because we have the engineering coordinating team together, we support ourselves and make sure that we protect the infrastructure that we have. So on this note, I would also like to thank you. We've also come out with some form of manual to guide the utility corridors and protecting the right of ways so that it will reduce the cost of disruptions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Planner Percy Anap from NECT there. Well, we're expecting the Chamber of Construction Industry also here to share their remarks, but I think at this point we can dovetail into the conversation. I'm sure Ken has a lot to say about the request. I think the theme that's been running through is the need for some mapping of infrastructure. I'm sure Ken will have a lot to say, because the Chamber actually has commenced some work on that in terms of trying to map fiber, that our members have. We have, we are still working on that. At this point, we have multiple mics. We have the DG here, the technical advisor to the minister. It's what's it called, Chatham House rules. So if there are any insightful remarks or inputs or questions that you have, kindly raise your hand. We'll bring the mic to you, and we should be out of here in the next. Sorry, heading. Oh yes. Okay, yes. So urban roads, Department of Urban Roads. So I mentioned, please, if you are here, kindly come up to the podium so that you can also get your remarks. We were expecting Engineer James Amu Godfrey, but apparently I think he sent a rep. So if we can have the rep come up to make their remarks, we'll be very grateful. Please. Are you here, please? The representative from the Department of Urban Roads? It doesn't look like it. Oh, it doesn't look like it. So we have the mic. My colleague at the back has, I don't know if Ken, if you would want to start with some remarks around some of the comments that have been shared.
So thank you very much. And I think the conversations today have been rich. A lot of the things that we've been looking to do. And so now I wear my hat as the chairperson for the National Engineering Coordinating Team, and say that there's a manual that we've done. We've had a meet. We virtually were at the point of launching it when, so the last we met with the Minister for Roads. Then he had agreed and the processes, but time and change happened. And we've met with a new minister as well. And so there's a lot of work going on there. And the plan B is just the same way that DG is getting the standards into a national standard. The policy manual, we would also have an LI, a regulation to back it, so that it then becomes punitive. The things around it, if you don't go by them. And on the conversation that Percy mentioned in terms of the mapping, and I think David also spoke about it, it's a conversation that even at the chamber we have taken up. But you heard DG talk about the open standards. The open standards, once we adopt it it would then make it very interoperable. Once you put the maps together, we all can read the various maps that we have. Because even currently amongst the telcos, you find out that the standards we all use tend to be different. But once we do this, it would then help us to then layer on the roads, now you have railway also coming, you have gas coming up, the telcos would come, water, ECG, all of that coming. Then you can layer all of that on it. The concern that the Honorable Minister has expressed is the whole issue of security. How do you also ensure that, this does not get into the hands of those who do not have to get it? So it would then mean some governance around it in such a way that it's going to be only on a need to know basis. So that is something that we need to work on, and the forum to be able to do this well at would be at NECT. Because at NECT, we know that Ghana Water, for example, has also done some GIS work. ECG is also doing something. The telcos have also done. The thing that we need to speak to our young engineers is these days, the exactitude of some of the as-built drawings are major challenges. You have the issue where they give you they tell you that this is the map. You go excavating about, you're just scratching the surface and you're hitting even some of our cables. So it's not only the issues with anybody else. So that's something that we really need to deal with. But the issue of the coordination is important. Ghana Water, for example, there was a situation in the Ashanti region where 4 kilometers of water pipes were destroyed. And so this is where, as NECT, we also come in, because the situation, especially with our assemblies, is a problem. And sometimes the political contractors as well. They tend to be above everybody else. But fortunately, this NECT, we are building that to be powerful. So I think that will be my responses. The commitment that we have gotten from the Honorable Minister, from DG, are things that we are definitely all going to work together to make that happen. And to our contractors, Bobia was talking about the cost. Well, we will definitely tell you, we'll make sure that you just pay for the production of it. But it's going to be important for all the contractors of our members. You need to have copies, and not only have copies, you need to also train your staff, because it's something that DG will be holding us to account. That we won't come and tomorrow they are just scratching the surface, doing clearing, and by the time they see it, you've not buried up to the 1.2 meters, and then we are hitting your cable. Or you go and meet, you say it's hard rock. Instead of cutting it or finding a way of working around it, you then go and put your infrastructure on Ghana Waters because they have done excavation already, and then they are coming to do their work. So we would be holding ourselves to account so far as the standards are concerned. And you also need to make sure that you're holding your other stuff. Another document that all of us would also have to get as contractors is the manual. Once the manual is launched, we all have to get the manual, because we all have to be working according to the manual and have to make sure that the distances, we are all going according to that. So if there are any questions, and the questions are not directed only at me, DG is here, NECT is here, the technical director to the minister is here, and even the CEOs are here, including the marine fiber. Emmanuel is also here as well. Everybody. So the questions can come from everybody and to anybody.
Hello, my name is Clement Tamaklum, and I'm very curious about what happened last year where we had the interruption with internet. As a young person in this country, we saw clearly that there was an important streamer that came to Ghana. The lack of internet connectivity, he had to leave the country abruptly. So I want to know, are there going to be provisions within this manual to make sure that an event like that will never happen again?
Right, so I think that one is DG's question. He answered it in a bit, but we'll take, if there are any other, so that then we can put all of that together. But this question is directly at DG. Okay, so maybe I'll give the microphone to DG.
Okay, I think that in my remarks I mentioned that we, last year when it happened, we made some directives. So all the operators had to, put in some redundant measures, connect to some number of cables, and then we've also required that beyond connecting to the cables that land in Ghana, they also connect to a cable that does not land in Ghana, meaning that it will be through some terrestrial fiber into another country before they connect. And we are doing this so that should something happen, we are not expecting any such thing to happen anytime soon, but we have put in the necessary measures. Normally, we'll say maybe we are 99 point. We never say 100%. Say 99 point. You can keep going with a decimal, but you always leave room for, so we don't expect any such thing happening anytime soon with the measures that are in place. I think it was around that time that a case was made also to license, satellite, internet over satellite, so that should there be such a situation, the value is not the same. Even the satellite still needs the cable, but we could use the cable elsewhere. So that is also one of the measures to ensure that as a country we have resilience when it comes to our data connectivity. I hope it is assuring enough. Thank you.
Right. Any other comments? Anybody who has not spoken who want to say anything? Otherwise, I will do. Emmanuel, yes. I was going to call you.
Thank you. I think for us, so I represent the submarine cables. I also represent data center providers. And for us, we can't do anything without terrestrial fiber. So we have a little bit of terrestrial fiber. We work with almost everybody here on the terrestrial fiber side. So this initiative is very good. We see it as a great initiative that will help drive the way we want things to be done better. Because without them, of course, data centers are basically cut off. Any connections there will not work. Submarine cables are under the sea. Without terrestrial cables, we cannot break them. The only thing I wanted to find out from the team that put it together, I've not looked at it, so I don't know what's really in there.
I'm hoping it could be projected anytime soon, part of it. But please go on.
Yeah, are we looking at, did we ever consider infrastructure sharing in it? Because I know that we're thinking about ducts. I mean, I heard Engineer Ken talk about burying. Are we looking at the possibility of the railways that are being done, the big roads that are being done, proper concrete ducts, and so sharing, that makes it cheaper for everybody? Is this something that we're thinking about?
Right. So thanks. So if the issue about the ducts and is one of the conversations that we've had even at NECT. But the good thing is that the road agencies will tell you we've started doing that. So it started even at Pokwase, on the Pokwase project. That's something that we did. The challenge that did not help that project is getting the permitting agencies also on board. So after you've done Pokwase and you had money spent in putting the infrastructure in, you needed assemblies to ensure that nobody else then comes to do any other excavation. So that if anybody else wanted now to lay fiber in that corridor, they then go and use the ducts that are there and then they lease it. But what we've done by extension is that currently for 2 of the projects, the successful one is the Tema Aplao project, the first phase of it. So that was a highway project, and highway provided the civil works. The chamber provided the ducts, and then so then members now shared the ducts that are there. And it's something that the plants are going for. That's what we're going to do. My conversation with the Minister for Roads, it's something that was considered in the last cabinet, and this current minister is also open to it. You heard the Minister for Communication also talk about the fact that that's a conversation that is going to happen. So going forward, the model that we're proposing even at NECT is to have a collaboration between the road agencies, the current infrastructure companies, and then the assemblies, so that you constantly then have this put in place. Those who would contribute to do it, those who use it, but it will be leased into the future as well, so that there can be some sharing. And I'm pretty sure working together with the regulator and the policymakers, we can then be moving from sharing just the passive infrastructure, even all the way to dark fiber. So that's a conversation that we need to have. And now the starting point is now what we're doing with the dark sharing, and the governance that is around it is one of the conversation. Emmanuel was part of us who worked on another one of the failed ones. So as I talk about the good one, there's a failed one. The beach road. The beach, it's terrible. To the extent that the contractors that were even housing the fiber, they were constructing the thing. After they've done it, we put the ducts, they'll go and destroy it. Those people, they were a completely different set of people. I don't know what we're going to do with those contractors, so far as that was concerned. So we had that bad experience where we're going to, again, the model was we all bring our resources together. DUR was doing the excavation and doing the civil works for us, the chambers and all of that for us, and then all of us will use it. But all that infrastructure, the money we've spent there and all of that, including money that the chamber even spent, is locked up. But at least there's a good example that we have done on the Tema Aplao Road that we believe that we are going to do going forward. But on the issue, so that you will not find in this manual, neither would you find in the next manual, but it's something that some work already is going on in there. We just need to maybe at some point find a way, if government then passes it as a policy document, then it would then be holding on the road contractors. Because currently what happens? If they want to do new projects, they will allow for Ghana Water for them to relocate. They will allow for ECG, but they don't. So you heard the minister talk about the fact that now that telecommunication infrastructure is also considered as a utility, then it also has to be added into it. Then maybe that the $10 million that we are spending, that money can then go, as DG said, extending fixed into a lot more homes. We can do that. And definitely as a country, if we really want to drive what the president has been talking about, mobile is fine, but we need to do a lot more investment into the fixed as well.
I think I saw Mr. Emmanuel Owusu, nodding his head whilst you were giving an example on the, is it Labadi and the Nungwa Road. So I don't know if any remarks from Mr. Frederick Afoko or the rest, even with respect to the punitive proposals that the DG actually came out with. Should it even be more? Should it be less? I don't know. Some people were nodding their heads whilst he was talking. Any further remarks, please? Any further remarks? You can just raise your hand and I'll bring the mic. Kindly raise your hand and I'll bring the mic. I don't know, maybe Mr. Mano, can I give you the mic so that you express?
Thank you very much. So, Engineer, I think you mentioned something about training of contractors. I wanted to know what sort of certification that was given to them so that in providing procurement services, getting them to do services for us, we could use that as one of the checks to make sure and mandate that these trainings are even pushed forward by them to come and get it. So if you could help with
Right.
that.
So in terms of the first training we did, the chamber did some certification for those who attended. And so we need, this year again, we're planning to do a refresher as well. And so we would definitely be able to share with our members those who have been trained. But now we need to go beyond the training that we did, which was more awareness creation, to now doing a bit more technical training and doing an evaluation after you've provided the training to ensure those who have actually imbibed it. And so this we will do as industry, but then going forward, once DG gets this passed into a national standard, and then with the call that DG has made to ensure that we could get training, done on the standard, then we can start having some certification that can be a requirement, so that even for you who have been licensed to provide fiber infrastructure, you would have to be using these certified people, and then they will on a constant basis would have to be doing certification. As we talk about that, let me just wear another hat as a member of the Ghana Institution of Engineers. Those of you who are here in this room, working for engineering firms, including even regulators who are engineering, if you have not registered with the Engineering Council, that's an illegal act. The transitional period is over. And those individuals, all the CTOs, if you are not members of the Ghana Institute of Engineers, if you are not like DG that has an engineering number, that has ING in before your name or ENG before your name, the police are waiting for you outside. We will make sure you are picked up. So please, let's all try and make sure we can get registered. And our contractors and all of that, we should be asking for that so that we can ensure the quality of the service that we get. I can tell you, as where I sit, a lot of the complaints we got that made do this is sometimes the complaints you get when you go to a next meeting, you get the road people will tell you about the quality of those who do the work for us. So it is really important, as Emmanuel mentioned, that we take the training seriously so that it's not just paper certificate, but the people actually know it. And so for us at the chamber, another thing that would also be ensuring that when we do the training, we would offer training and
get a copy.
The name suggests the National Engineering Coordinating Team. It is made up of about 6 ministries, from Ministry of Roads, Communication, Works and Housing, so about 6 ministries, then local government. And then you have our regulators. So the NTA, for example, is on NECT, and you have NITA on NECT. Then you have the professional bodies. And then you have the Land Use, the Land Commission, LUSPA, all of that on it. So you have the national body, that is the policy-making body, that comes up with all the policies and all of that. Then it devolves into the regional, so you have the RECT, the Regional Engineering Coordinating Teams, that then does a bit of operation. And then it has to also devolve further down to the assemblies, where a lot of the work happens. And so at this particular point, if anybody is doing a project, if your district committee is active, then you need to put it on that platform so everybody knows. So even the telcos, it's a responsibility for you as well. And we also do that at the regional level, and then at the national level. The DUR PESI is the organized as well.
Thank you very much. You've made mention of GHA, you made mention of urban roads, but most of the times when I go to my village, the network is very bad. So we want to know, or would like to know, we from Feeder Roads, where we fit into all of what you do.
Right.
If you can educate us, thank you.
Right. So okay, Percy was just saying you are part of it. You see, so Feeder Roads is also part of it. So when you go to the road agencies, while we are waiting whether the Road Act, National Road Act will be passed, then you are all under that. But currently you come, so you sit, Feeder Roads is also part of it. The fortunate thing is that the indiscipline is not happening on the Feeder Road side yet. We hope that it will never get there. So by the time it gets there, at least the discipline would have been attained. But Feeder Roads is part of it. And again, that's why we're saying, if you stop spending the money on the highway routes and then the urban way routes, then we'll be able to extend fiber onto the feeder roads so that the people in the local communities can also get fiber. But when you keep on spending within 1 year, $10 million within 1 year on fixing cuts, doing relocations and all of that, then unfortunately my twin towns of Asadame and Chame, they will never see fiber, so also to the manual. Okay. And then for all of you who are here, the manual too, we are offering advertising into it. That manual will be available for the next 10 years. So if you see us, we can put your brand in there, you give us more money to be able to print the manual and make sure that we can give it out to people at only the cost price, so that it's available. So if you have your messages that you want to share directed at people, we have the front page, the back page, the inside cover and all of that available. We are almost ready to go to print. Right, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you so very much. So it looks like we are done for the day. I believe that, well, we have a lot of journalists here, and I was hoping they would actually ask some questions, but I'm sure they are waiting for their one-on-ones. But if we do not have any more questions, I believe we can wrap the program up. We started with a prayer. Ken, I don't know if you just do the closing remarks, and then we'll just wrap it up, please.
The closing remarks, I've done it. I think I've done the closing remarks, but just to say thank you to the Honorable Minister, and say thank you to Kofi Nshira, the Technical Director, Advisor to the Minister, and to our DG. Really, what you said to us, we are grateful for them, and we, as a technology company, we the words, we keep them. Once it goes out, it's there. So we will hold you to it. But we'll work together with you. And there's something you said about the fact that this is a product of collaboration from competitors. And I think that's significant, that we're only able to do that because we all came together to do it. And DG, this work was done by the right-of-way engineers. It was them who took it and put everything together from beginning to the end. So we did not have to go and get any external consultants from anywhere. We sat together, and out of what we've been doing, what we've been experiencing, we were able to do. And when we met the contractors as well, then we got feedback also from them, and then we added it to it. So the name of the game has been said by everybody. It's collaboration. How are we going to collaborate amongst us and other utilities, the road people, and then amongst other regulators as well. The CSA has, the minister through the CSA has classified telecommunication infrastructure as critical information infrastructure. And so what do we do to ensure that we are able to live up to the game? And as DG said again, we're now talking about resilience, not even just redundancy. Because it's a very interesting example that happened, where we had the fiber of all the five. Then there were 5 members that we had. All of us, our fiber went. And normally we would depend on the NITA infrastructure also for backup. That also went. So at that particular point, from the Ashanti region all the way, everybody had gone down. Telecel, everybody was down. But people did not notice that, because when those happens, then you are forced to deploy your microwaves and all of that. And that is what also then results in poor quality, because you're now forcing to push, so much into a smaller pipe. And so we all need to work together. And DG, critically, one of the people that we need to bring onto the table, apart from the other utilities, is the local government people. They really, really, really are the people we need to bring. Sometimes you go and people are working there. If it is a highway project, highway would have given the permits. Highway does not share their monies with the assemblies. Then they'll come and collect the equipment of your people who are working. Sometimes if you're not even careful, they'll be molested and all of that. And so we need to find a way of bringing them a lot more into it. And they should also stop seeing telecommunication as if it is a money-making venture. If anybody is extending water and electricity, they will hold a deba to do it. But when you go and say you want to lay fiber, they think you should bring them money to be able to do it. You get into some assemblies, they want to actually charge you per kilometer of cable. So some of these are the conversations that we need to have. But speaking again to all of us as engineers, there are things that we need to change for this country to move forward. We need to do the right thing and do it at the right time. And we believe that this is the beginning of it. And we are grateful for coming for this one. So to close,
Yes, to close, I think we developed a technology challenge when we're taking the pictures. So if we could have DG with the rest of the team, our members up there, we'll take it, and then also later on we'll add the DUR, the feeder roads, and the Ghana Water to the picture area. So we can have you all come upstairs right around there. Yes, the picture we took earlier.
It failed.
Yeah,
DG, they are saying that the picture failed.
The
That's
picture
what
failed,
they mean.
please.
That the
Forgive
picture
us.
failed.
Forgive us. So the CTOs that joined the initial picture. Mr. Tetevi, please, if you can move up for the picture. Yes, please. Yes, please go up. Let's all join DG. Let's flank them on both sides. Let's flank them on both sides. The DUR rep, the next rep as well, you can join. And then afterwards, please come up. Please come up. And then when we are done, all of you would also sign, those who haven't signed yet. Mr. Cameraman, are you ready? We are not going to get all these people together. All right, let the lady squeeze in there somewhere. Great, awesome. Wow, it's a very masculine picture. You good? Great, awesome. So on behalf of the chamber, we say a very big thank you for making it here. Please take time to sign. We want everyone to sign before they leave. Sign on the symbolic front page of the manual. We'll be very grateful. Each and every one of us can sign. I'm sure the media would love to do some interviews as well. So media. Yes. We can do a closing prayer.
Right. So we pray in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for what we've been able to achieve. We invited you into the beginning, and you helped us bring this to a good close. We commit this manual into your hands. We pray that all of us will work together with it, and that there will be order within the right of ways. Our infrastructure will be resilient. We'll be able to drive a lot more penetration of fiber into the homes. It will lead to the development of our country, and will bridge the digital divide, which is also the development gap. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. So yes, if you've not signed, kindly please sign. And please sign. We're very grateful. We have lunch coming in. If you can just give me some 10 minutes. We have lunch coming in. It's packed lunch. Beautiful, delicious meals. So kindly sign, interact. Give me about some 5 minutes, and lunch will be here. Please sign. Take a few seconds to sign, please. Take a few seconds to sign. Have you signed? Yes. Oh, great. Awesome. Fred. Yes. It's also a call, right? If your signature is as bad as mine, no problem. Still sign. Kindly give us some 10 minutes. Lunch is coming in. Just interact. So keep interacting. So he's wearing gray. Everybody's wearing gray. Let's keep exchanging contacts. So he's being interviewed.
Together. Now, March 14th, 2024 will remain a date etched in Ghana's history. It was the day the nation plunged into darkness, not from a power outage, but from a loss of connectivity. The undersea cables that connected us to the world were severed, and suddenly, the internet went silent. No emails, no online meetings, no WhatsApp, no YouTube, no Twitter, no TikTok, no mobile money, no internet in schools, hospitals, banks, or ATM, and in your homes. No internet. In an instant, our digital lives ground to a halt. Just like water and electricity, the internet flows through the veins of fiber optic cables. They are the lifelines of our digital world, threading through our neighborhoods, connecting us to the vast expanse of cyberspace. But these lifelines are fragile. They can be disrupted by negligence, road construction works, drainage works, works of other utilities, or even deliberate sabotage. That's why it's crucial, now more than ever, to protect them. Let's remember the lessons of 14th March 2024 and safeguard our fiber. Report fiber cuts to the police. Avoid construction near fiber cables, which are critical information infrastructure and can be found in our communities, both under the ground and on poles. Every day, there are about 20 cuts across Ghana. Let's treat it like water. Let's treat it like electricity, because without it, we are left in the dark, disconnected from the world. It is my fiber. It is your fiber. It is our fiber. Report fiber cuts to the police. Let's protect it to stay connected.